father was English, Canadian. My mother was Cree, Indian. So that makes me Canadian. Now, if you've been to my lodge before, you'll know this, but if this is your first time, this will be news to you. And if you have to go to the washroom, squeeze your knees. And if you're texting, stop for 3 seconds, because this is the most important thing I'm going to say. I love you. And if you'd like to see a better Canada, say I. Okay, some of you do. If you'd like to see a better Canada, say I. If you'd like to see a better Canada, say love. You like freedom? Freedom. Like, I've been from one end of the country to the other, and I've made that journey across the top, and I can tell you that there's a lot of things you can do in this country that don't cost you nothing. One of them is love, arguably. Now, if this was, I saw the map behind us, and if the stage was this map, and I wanted to be in Toronto, well, I'd have to be kind of over here. Because if I'm over here, I'm in Manitoba. Right? So I want to be here just for a second. And I want to tell you, if you went on a journey with me, let me just share some experiences with you, right? I went to Inuvik once, which, if this was the map, I'd be kind of over here. And I actually went golfing, an 18-hole golf course on the Beaufort. If you got people that you know up there, they'll carve out a golf course for you on the Beaufort. And then if you go up to Old Crow, which is the farthest northern tip on the mainland continent, about 100 miles into the Arctic Circle, you can have the best caribou stew on the planet. And if you wander your way down, you can go to Pelly Crossing or Mayo or go to Dawson City and see the casino that still exists there. And you can go down to Whitehorse, and they can show you some of the best fly fishing in the world. And you can go over here into northern BC, and you can go to Atlin, where the best little big music festival happens every year. And if you know the elders, they'll take you to a camp which is 50 kilometers into the bush, and you can sit, and if you're silent, you can hear the salmon speak. And then you can go to Kispiox, the hiding place, and you can dance with an elder, and the more you dance with her, the younger she gets. Or Hazelton, and you can go there and see 6 longhouses. And we got to hurry. You got to get over here, because you're going to go to Newfoundland and Labrador. And you're going to go to a place where the Viking Queen landed 600 years before Columbus. And then you're going to maybe go to St. John's. If you're really lucky, you're going to meet Aidan and Sarah Flynn. And Sarah's going to help you with your bobber. What's a bobber? Well, they don't fly fish over there. They put bobbers on the end of their line, and they throw it out there, and then you got to sit and watch your bobber. And then you go maybe to Quebec, and you see the tall ships and the marionettes. You know, the giant ants. You go there and go up to Cambridge. And Cambridge, oh, yeah. No, we got to go to Rankin first. We got to go to Rankin. You know, because Susan Goulkirk was born in Rankin. And speaking of Rankin, and we got to go back over here, go to Cape Breton. You got to go to Mabou, where everybody in Mabou plays and sings music. Why? Because they're from the Rankin family. And you go up here, and you go to Cambridge, and if you listen at night, guided only by the northern lights, if you listen, you can hear the electricity going through the lines. But that's the only thing you can hear. Unless you go out onto the sea. It gets quiet and quiet. And all of a sudden you'll hear a buzz. Bzzz. What is that? It's a skidoo. And then there's 2 and 3 and 4 and 15 skidoos, and on the back of them are hockey players. Now this is hockey night in Canada. They're traveling hundreds, maybe thousands of miles to be guaranteed at least a third-place medal in Yellowknife because there's only 3 teams playing in the hockey tournament. And then they'll trade their sleds, those sleds, for other sleds that are pulled by dogs. It's awesome. Maybe you go down into Manitoba, go down into Boissevain, and you'll see the only turtle derby. And if you're lucky, you'll get Rick Neufeld to sing Moody Manitoba Morning. Go over into Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan, you'll see amazing teepee circles. And if you walk on the land, it sounds in the summer like it does in the winter, because some of the land is so dry that it sounds like fresh snow. And if you take your shoes and your socks off and you stand in those circles like me and my wife, Allison, actually I'm her husband, and you stand there, it'll make you cry. It's so awesome, just unbelievable. And maybe you step over into Alberta and you go into the Badlands and you meet the guy who runs the Badlands. He actually runs the Badlands. But you got to know him, because otherwise you can't go where you want to go. But you go and stand on land that is you may be the only person ever stood on this land. 350 million years old. And I asked him, why do you do this? He's going to do this for the rest of his life. Why do you do this? And he looks at me like I'm nuts. He says, can't you feel it? And I did. And then I thought to myself, okay, I got it. Allison, will you pass me that? Then I thought, I got to get back to Toronto. I'm looking for the maple leaf. And I thought, just think about that for a second. I mean, we live in a land that has so many different things, and one of the most treasured things that we know is the maple leaf. We are so different. We have 1,000 cultures in this country, and we are fiercely independent with our cultures unless there's a disaster. I work with the Red Cross, and I can tell you, when there's something wrong in this country, there's nothing that I would rather do than be with you. Because we are a family. And when something goes wrong in a family, the family becomes one. You see, this maple leaf, you got great trees here, right? I've seen them. But this maple leaf is my sister. And I'm going to ask you just for 5 seconds to believe, if you will. Just 5 seconds. Just breathe. And believe that I'm your brother. 1, 2. Okay, now, regardless of how you looked at that flag before, or that maple leaf, now that you know that's my sister, and I'm your brother, how does that make you feel now?